The movie opens with three men hunting in the woods. Dale decides to split from his friends to track an animal. He eventually locates the animal and prepares to shoot, but suddenly a large bald man, Ryan Varrett, emerges and pushes Dale off a cliff, resulting in his death. Ryan, a former cop seeking revenge for the murder of his family a few years earlier, Dale was one of the killers. After Dale's demise, Ryan heads to a small town named Hope, which is under the control of a violent biker gang that even intimidates the sheriff. Undeterred, Ryan proceeds to the town. At a gas station in Hope, he purchases some items and inquires about accommodations from the owner, Kirby, who mentions the only motel in the area run by a young woman named Darcy. The motel has few guests because people avoid visiting Hope. Darcy is astonished at Ryan's boldness in coming to the town, but he insists he has business there. Meanwhile, an FBI special agent named Frank is collaborating with his team to apprehend Dale, who is also a rapist. During their conversation, another agent enters and informs them that Dale has been discovered dead. Then, a flashback reveals a scene from when Ryan worked as a cop. At a party with his family and friends, a group of criminals, led by Drake Santiago, attacked and shot at everyone, including Ryan and his family. Ryan was one of the targets of Drake, who held a grudge against the cops who had previously put him in jail and sought revenge by targeting them and their families. Despite being shot, Ryan somehow survived. In the present, while driving around town, Ryan notices some motorcycles parked in front of a building. A member of the biker gang becomes aggressive when a barking dog annoys him, and he attempts to shoot the dog. However, Ryan intervenes and teaches him a lesson by physically confronting him. The commotion attracts the attention of other gang members inside the building, including the gang leader, who is revealed to be Drake. Despite having confronted one of his men, Drake doesn't recognize Ryan because he has killed so many people. Ultimately, Drake decides to let Ryan go due to other pressing matters, but he remains suspicious and instructs his younger brother, Rexo, to keep an eye on Ryan. The following day, Rexo meets with Drake and reports that a club owner has refused to pay the security fee. Angry, Drake challenges the club owner to a one-round boxing match, promising that if the man wins, he will never ask for the security fee again. Despite his age, Drake demonstrated his strength by easily defeating the larger man. Realizing the man's value to him, Drake spared his life, recognizing that he wouldn't be able to collect money from a dead man. In addition to overseeing the meth lab, Drake and his gang found alternative ways to make money. On a particular night, Rexo went to Darcy's motel to inquire about the whereabouts of a man named Ryan, but Darcy remained silent. In response, Rexo threatened her, warning that he would harm her if she didn't disclose Ryan's location. Unbeknownst to Rexo, Ryan overheard the threat and intervened by resorting to violence to stop Rexo. Witnessing the confrontation, Darcy warned Ryan that Rexo was the younger brother of Drake, the leader of the gang, and that Drake would seek retribution if his brother was harmed. Ryan callously brought Rexo to the front of the gang's lab and fastened him to a car. He then allowed the car to drive into the lab, resulting in an explosion that claimed Rexo's life and destroyed the lab, much to Ryan's satisfaction. Drake and the gang quickly noticed the explosion and hastened to the lab, but could only helplessly witness the flames. Upon learning of his brother's death, Drake was filled with rage. Not long after, the sheriff and one of his deputies arrived to investigate the incident. Drake and his gang were still present at the scene, and when Drake saw the sheriff, he approached him and issued a threat. He warned the sheriff that if he tried to intervene, he would harm the sheriff's family. The sheriff, intimidated by Drake's words, refrained from challenging the gang as he believed this would prevent further violence in the town. The following day, Ryan targeted a gang truck that was transporting meth to another city. He followed the truck stealthily, deflated the tire, forcing the driver to escape, and then blew up the truck. A gang member witnessed the explosion and informed Drake of it. Furious that a lot of meth was in the truck and that he had lost a lot of money, he wanted to find the person who had done this and suspected Ryan. Drake ordered his men to bring Kirby to their base. He asked Kirby to help him investigate Ryan and find out who he was. If Ryan was guilty, Drake would kill him. Kirby was scared and had no choice but to obey that. Kirby began investigating Ryan on the same day, checking Ryan's car parked near the motel in the hopes of finding information about him. While Kirby was searching in the car, Ryan emerged from the motel and caught him. Feeling nervous, Kirby invited Ryan to have a drink at his house, which was not far from the motel. However, Ryan was not foolish. When they arrived at Kirby's house, Ryan inquired why Kirby had searched his car. Kirby confessed that Drake had instructed him to gather information on Ryan. Just as Kirby finished speaking, they heard a motorcycle stopping outside. It was one of Drake's men, Crab, who had come to challenge Ryan. Their fight was brief, and Ryan defeated Crab but allowed him to go. Drake conducted an investigation by speaking with the sheriff and discovered that Ryan used to be a police officer but left the force after his family was killed. Drake expressed his gratitude to the sheriff and provided him with some money. Later that night, Drake and his associates visited Kirby's residence while he was sleeping. Drake felt let down that Kirby hadn't been able to uncover any information about Ryan, so as punishment, he instructed Crab to eliminate Kirby. Ryan learned about Kirby's death the following morning and was certain that Drake's gang was responsible. Without hesitation, Ryan headed to one of Drake's clubs and assaulted all the gang members. He then abducted Crab and placed him in the trunk of his car, eventually killing him and leaving his body in front of the gang's headquarters. Upon seeing his favorite man dead, Drake was filled with rage and commanded his remaining men to gather and arm themselves in order to track down Ryan.
Please subscribe for more movie